Welcome team to Move Better 55 Plus Mobility Week. And along the same lines, the class I taught earlier this week in terms of yoga for balance and bones was focused on knee health. And we are continuing that journey because it is a very common issue. And if it isn't, you're still going to work on your mobility. You're still going to work on your strength, and you're still going to gain some benefit from this class. So what I'm going to ask you to do is have a long resistance band if you have one handy. We're going to put this around our foot. So we want it pretty snug. So make yourself a little tiny hole if you have the ability. It can be done. There you go, Marion. It can be done without a resistance band. So the exercise just gets a little bit more challenging in terms of activating our muscles when we have some form of resistance. And that's what this is being used for. We will use a chair and of course, any support you need to support the curves of your spine and the base of your skull. We always want to ensure best practices, whether we're standing on quadruped or on our back. And if we have a tendency to have head forward posture, as you know, when you lie on your back, that is mimicked. So what will happen if you don't have support is there's a good chance you'll jut your chin towards the ceiling. So as a reminder, we want to fill that gap and lengthen through the base of our skull. So with that said, we are going to start on our back, knees bent, feet hip width apart. So your favorite position. So let's get there. I'm gonna put a little music on today. I was just kind of in the mood for some music. So you can adjust the volume. I don't wanna have it too loud, of course. It's just gonna be a little bit of background music. Can we have a thumbs up if we can hear that, team? Super gentle right now because we're just starting. Full screen. All right. So once again, you'll have all your props nearby, including your chair, transitioning to our back from our hip, sliding that bottom arm away from our body, keeping those knees bent, and then transition. And of course, I want to demonstrate that support between my low back and the floor so that I don't flatten no matter what I'm doing. And just pause here for a moment. We're going to turn our palms upwards to the sky. And then just close our eyes, making sure here, of course, that same concept, the back of our neck stays long. And you're welcome to close your eyes. And we're always very quick, no matter what the theme of the week is, whether it's aerobic or strength or even mobility, to get started. Let's go, 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 go. But what if we just took a moment here to feel our body supported by your mat, by the earth? And take a few breaths here, just welcoming yourself to your practice. We know half the battle is showing up, right? Maybe 3/4 of the battle. So take a moment of gratitude for your body and everything it can do for you today, whether its working order is 100% perfect or not. You showed up. Just take one more breath. Good, and then as you exhale, I want you to open your eyes and draw both knees in towards your chest. If you're using that support underneath your low back, we want to ensure that that is feedback, not to press your low back down and feel your tailbone lift. So keep that tailbone heavy. And just take a couple more breaths here, trying to feel the expansion in your back ribs onto the floor. Feeling that release of the low back, feeling that release of the muscles of your seat. Even letting the weight of your legs, for those of you who have that constant tension at the front of your hip crease, see if you can let your arms hold your legs in place so that the legs are completely supported and you have to use strong arms to hold those legs up. Take 2 more breaths here, team. Good. Hey, Deanne. Good, and then take one last breath. And as you exhale, lower one leg at a time. Lift the base of your skull up and just slide your blanket away if you're using that blanket. Place your arms now palms down to the floor. Fix your shoulders, so the back of your shoulders down. So your chest might feel slightly lifted, and that's okay. Press your arms and hands down and then focus on pushing your feet into the floor to lift your hips as high as you comfortably can. And then slowly lower your hips back down and release the pressing of the shoulders and the arms to give yourself a little bit of a break. And then again, press the shoulder blades on your back, left and right down. Feel that expansion in your collarbones and your breastbone. And then push through the arms out to the fingertips and into all three corners of your feet, trying to track the knees in the same direction as your toes. And then slowly lower your hips back down. I don't care how high they come. They don't even have to come like full max right now. Just focus on the push and the lift. That's it. Good. And give me about 5 more of those. Good. I just want to have a look. Make sure our knees are tracking. Imagining you have like a yoga block in between your knees. Nice, Sue. Nice, Jenny. Good. So you're doing your own counting. I asked for 5 more. Just starting to wake up muscles, focusing on that crease in the hip. Yeah, knees are driving in the direction of the toes. Really good, team. Good. And then the last one, can you stay up? For those of you who have issues, right? We know that there are some people with broken toes and injuries in the feet and ankle. You may not want to stay up too long. You may want to lower and focus on heel pressing down. Otherwise, stay up here. Keep breathing. Don't hold your breath for 5, 4, 3. Arms are down, Deanne. 2, there we go, because we're using them to lift up, right? And 1, and then lower the hips back down. Bring your thighs together. Keep those knees bent. Remember the transition from quadruped, really important. From here, thighs together, arm closest to your monitor reaches up overhead, and then you're gonna turn to your side. Use that top arm, take your time, push into the ground and slowly come up. From here, transition to 4-point kneeling. In fact, before you come up into 4-point kneeling, that resistance band I had you tie down, place it around one leg. I don't care which one. 1 foot, not the leg. Good. And then transition to 4-point kneel. So if the band is underneath, like it's underneath my right foot right now, that means my right hand is going to hold this. This can be done in a 4-point kneel position like so. Same thing, the hand, right foot, or left hand, left foot. Good. So support the knees. Support the wrist creases. If being at 90 degrees in this passive range of motion is painful, the goal is to lift the heel of the palm to lessen that angle, or even come up onto your knuckles, right? Onto your fists. Either way, actively push left and right hand. So spread the fingers out if they're in contact with the mat or the chair. Feel that subtle engagement through the abdomen, like I'm coming to tickle you, and then slowly start to slide that leg back that has tension on it. Right? So we're loading that leg. Good. And then lift that leg up, no higher than your hip crease, please. Good. And then from here, we're going to slowly start painting circles with our toes on the wall behind us. So we're going to just make the tiniest little circles, super controlled. Keep pushing into the hands equally and evenly for 5, 4, slow, 3, knee is locked out, 2, And 1, if you need to lower the knee, go ahead and give yourself a break. Otherwise, change direction of those circles. 5, 4, nice and slow, nice and small. 3, take your time. 2, 1, and then lower your knee. Take the weight off your upper body, shake out those arms. We're gonna do that one more time on the same leg, so you're not changing just yet. Reevaluate, team, if you wanna transition to your 4-point kneel variation using your hands on the seat of a chair. That's completely fine. Again, we're focusing on the crease of the hip, the core engagement here. As you push into the ground, the goal is when you lift that leg, try not to shift to the opposite side, yes? So really focus on that push. Reach back, that's it. Lift the leg a little bit. Tiny little circles. Good, point your toes a little, Deb. Point, point, point. So the circle comes from your hip crease, not your ankle. So point that toe, Deb, behind you. Yes. Different. Lift the base of your skull, Maureen. Same with you, Claudette. 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch directions. If you need to lower the knee, and then switch directions. I won't need to tell you what needs to be engaged. You're feeling it already. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Come to your kneeling position. Give those wrist creases a break. If you need to sit in a chair to transition, otherwise sideline might be a good way to do it, Marion, and then slip this off and place it on the other foot. So remember, this movement is coming from this area here, right at the crease of your hip. We're rotating there. So all the muscles of your hip and leg need to be strong and stable for what we're doing today. And again, we're going to transition, Ms. Jenny, onto quadruped. Good. If you follow the gossip papers, there's problems in Jenny from the Block's neighborhood. Not this Jenny, the other Jenny. So again, spread your base of support, push equally and evenly into both hands, be strong and stable. Imagine your grandkid or your dog coming and wants to sit on your back right now. You gotta be strong for it, yes? Here we go. Not an older grandchild, like no teenagers here, I'm talking toddlers. Point that leg behind you. Ankle is extended, toes are pointed, knee is extended, and we're gonna make those tiny circles. Pull those abdominals close to the spine. So that's a slight contraction to stabilize around the core or around the spine, creating that stability so we can find that mobility within the hip socket. 3, 2, 1. Change directions or take a moment, take a break. Yep. Slow and controlled, mobilizing through the hip. 4, 3, so much fun. 2, you get to do this. 1, yes you do. Come out of that, take a moment. Yeah, however your moment looks, right? Either sitting back, coming up into kneeling position. So we want to practice different ranges of motion. And if you can sit on your heels, that's great. All right, one more time, right? I don't need to do it. This is your turn now. No more demoing. And let's go. Extend that leg back. Remember, 2 sets. Good. Point, 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 sharp leg. Base of the skull is lifted. 5, 4, 3. We're on that same leg, second set. 2, 1, and take a break or switch directions. Let's see, Deb. Yep. 3, 2, 1, and then just lower both knees to the ground. You can enjoy that extended child's pose, which means your arms are overhead to some capacity, right? So either a Y or an I with the arms. So we just want to keep the arms overhead so that the spine follows nice and long and elongated. One more thing on quadruped. Again, hands on seated chair is fine. So find your way there without resistance, please and thank you. So we're going to use the stability of the glutes, stability of the core, so that we can mobilize our arms and legs. Just working on that opposite arm, opposite leg position, which means if you're sending your right arm out, your left leg is going to reach back. Can you find the same contraction around the muscles of the leg, around the glute, the hip, as you point through those toes and lower your limb, opposite arm, opposite leg. So let's see what that looks like. Try to be as still as possible. Imagine the puppy is still on your back, right? Neutral curve. You've got to be super stable or your grandbaby's going to fall off. Don't let that happen. Good. Change sides, so opposite arm, opposite leg. This is dynamic, which is harder sometimes to keep that stability as we move quickly. Nice job, Susan. Yep. Good. Deanne, do you see how your right knee is forward of your hip towards your armpit? Can you get your right knee underneath your hip? Yes. Good. Yep. Much better. Good. And then switch. Couple more times. Yes, this is a mobility class, but it feels like a lot of work, doesn't it? When you're done, which is your strongest leg, team? Do you know? I know for me, my right leg. So you think about your strongest leg. If you don't know, don't worry about it. But when you're moving around today, the next time you go to climb stairs, the next time you get up from your chair, which is the leg that starts you in your journey? For me, it's my right. So this is what I'm going to do to transition to that standing position from kneeling. I'm going to take that right leg forward. Yeah. And then strongly either hold on to the chair or push into the tops of my thighs, contracting my muscles, creating force to come on up. Grab some water. You saw my email about water, the attachments, the facts, ways to keep hydrated and to make your water taste delicious. Because I've had people say to me, I don't like the taste of water. I'm like, water doesn't have taste. So if you need to put some fruit in there, right, infuse it with some flavor. Cucumber water is really lovely too. So with the focus being of the knees, we just warmed up, not the knees. And that's okay, because we need these larger muscles of the leg and the glutes and hips to help stabilize us in our knee work. So with our feet together, in fact, I'm going to have the chair right in the center of the mat. Why don't you do this with me? And step to one side of your mat. Yeah. Bring your feet together. That chair is there. Whether you need it or not, it doesn't matter, but it's there. You're going to move around the chair instead of constantly picking up your chair and moving it around. I'll show from the side. I'm going to bend my knees. We're washing those knees out. And we're going to make circles. You can hold on to the chair. You can place your hands on your thighs, whatever feels good. So knees are circling simultaneously around my ankle joints. So you can feel the weight shifting from the inner outer edges forward and back. And I'm not suggesting today you have to get really deep, right? So for those of you with the foot issues going on today, you can kind of just do this passively, right? One leg at a time. This is a variation for seated, yeah? When you've done several in one direction, you of course want to change the directions. Over time, the focus, if we were to just focus on knee washing, is to get really deep. But I don't want you to focus on the depth today. I just want you to get some nice range of motion. 2. It's kind of fun. 1. Good. Then separate your feet. Let's just say hip width apart. Good. Bend the knees. Same thing. So even base of support is going to feel different. Knees are still working around the ankle joints. Good. Posture, we're always focusing on that upright, nice, tall posture. The tendency is to go, oh, what's going on down there? Don't do it. Good. Change directions. Good. Healthy knees. Maybe that's what we're going to call this class today. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so again, the chair is there. I want you to step your feet outside of your hips. Maybe the chair needs to move over a little bit, okay? And you're gonna bend your left knee. Good, so now this leg is gonna stay straight and the knee washes are gonna happen just from your bent knee. So what have you just done, right? You've increased the stimulus in that knee joint. You might feel it's a little bit more challenging, right? Because there's more load, less support from this leg. So we want to be gentle, especially if we're dealing with knee osteoarthritis, which is not the same as osteoporosis. Good, change directions. I'm not judging. There's a lot of people when I do wellness fairs for Osteoporosis Canada say, yeah, I've got osteoarthritis, or my mom or my uncle. I'm like, that's not the same thing. But a lot of us do have knee osteoarthritis, right? It's because we're lasting longer, we're living longer, vibrant lives. 2 and 1, and I'm just going to go on to the other side. You don't have to, but I find it's very helpful here to have that support just in case I need it. And now my left knee is going to bend. I'm going to send my left hip back a little bit and start with really teeny tiny circles, right? Good, and I know a lot of clients that I've met along the last 15 years have had knee replacements. I've even met some who have had more than one on the same joint. And what does that tell you? That we're not dealing with the root cause of the knee issue, right? So we want to load, we want to lubricate and mobilize and strengthen our body. Good, change directions. You can't just change a joint and then carry on doing what you've been doing your whole life. You have to stay strong, team. Good, 3, 2, this one's a little easier, and this is my fussy knee. Isn't that interesting? And 1, shake it out, because that's a lot of load. Good, and now we're gonna do the same thing. I'll go on this side maybe, and put your right leg forward and your left leg back, increasing the load each time. This is a bad idea, but it's okay. We're gonna go with it. So right foot forward, left leg back. I want you to be on your toe mounts. And I know for some of you that's not possible, in which case you're just gonna stagger your stance closer together. Place your back foot closer to your front foot. Remember, you're hip width apart, you're not on a balance beam, okay? So this is the least loaded on that broken toe situation, and this would be a little bit more load on that back toe. However, the front knee is the focus, so same thing. We're gonna start with little teeny tiny circles. If you wish to progress with this class, which may be part of your summer library, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, maybe, yeah, I think it will be. You may see that over time and practice that you will be able to get deeper and bigger circles. Change directions for me, Jenny. Good. I tell you, for those who were in the yoga knee class on this past Monday, I went to the gym and it was back squat day. I hit a PR because I was so ready. My knees were prepped and ready to go. So even my trainer's like, wow, you're doing good today. I got a good. That's all I'll get. Good, let's switch legs. So the front knee is the primary mover. If you can, you're back up onto your back toe mounds. And then you're gonna start making those little tiny circles, knee around ankle. Lots of knee washing today. Again, we know that this is going to load that knee a little bit more aggressively, so be kind to yourself. If you need less load, you're gonna bring that back foot a little bit closer. 6 movements of the knee. We'll see how many we can hit today. 3, 2, why am I smiling so much? You know what? Because I get to do this today and it feels like a real gift, right? Not every day is a good day for movement, But as you'll see in my follow-up email next week is that any movement is better than no movement. So we get to move our bodies today. And now we're going to definitely need that chair in this position. Feet are hip width apart. Your right leg is going to be the primary mover, but the loaded knee is going to be the leg closest to the chair. So you're gonna have to bend both knees a little bit, and the movement's gonna look like this. I'm gonna tap my outside leg forward, and then slowly, I'm gonna bring it in each time. Let's challenge ourselves progressively, shall we, Diana? So we're gonna tap that foot forward, and you can see what's happening. My loaded knee is bending and tracking over my toes. I might actually lose visibility of my toes to get further forward. Do it a few times, see where you're comfortable in that pain-free motion, range of motion. Good. And now imagine there's a half of a clock and you're trying to hit all the numbers of the clock. All right. And so this is more than loading the knee. Ankle dorsiflexion is involved here. Tap back, come up. And again, we're just doing like a half clock, trying to hit all the numbers. And then each time come back to center. Shake out the leg. So we talked a lot the other day in class about this constantly contracting causes issues. Well, you can feel how it's contracting because the amount of load. It's not bad, but it's necessary to achieve this, right? We don't want it like that all the time, but we need it to be strong. We're gonna do it one more time, Heather. Same leg. I know. I know you guys are anticipating tap forward, but we were just taking a bit of a break. Try to hit all 6 numbers, right? Maybe I feel like I'm hitting more than 6 numbers. Making up my own universe, as I always do. Good, and back. Good. So how would we advance that move if we were like, big deal, so easy. Right? We could not come back to center each time. We could just tap, tap, tap. Not today, right? There's only so much time. Shake out that standing leg. Yeah, give it a little rub. And now Heather can move to the other side, so can Marion. Good, and 2 times, right? 2 sets we're doing. Inside leg, inside knee is being loaded. So start with both knees bent, knees tracking over toes. And now go. You know what to do. Good. Remember your posture. How many of you are like me and had to look down? No, you guys are better teachers than me. Good. Once you've done 1 set, come back, shake out the legs. We'll do a nice quad stretch to finish up, Janet. Don't worry. Here we go. Last time. Come on, Claudette. Forward. Good. Works on balance too, wouldn't you say? Indeed it does. There's a lot of balance training today. So you've got your balance training in for the day because we know we need to do that every single day. Good. Excellent. So we're needing to maintain control of that standing leg to do this exercise, right? One last thing we're gonna do, and then we're gonna get on with a little bit more active work. We doing okay, Susan? Yeah, okay, do what you can. Yeah. All right, from here, we're going to stand on this loaded leg, but we're not doing it with it unlocked, right? Sorry, locked out rather. We are standing on that leg with it soft. So we're not bent, it's just soft, right? Pick up that leg, outer leg, so your right leg. Good, hips stay forward, spine stays tall, and then take that leg out to the side, bring it back, lower it down. Lots of hip flexion today. I apologize to my folk who have tight hip flexors. We're trying to strengthen them here. Again, hold on to the chair if you need to. If you want to practice your balance today, you're absolutely welcome. But we want to focus on both hip points. So we've palpated our hip bones. Many times they continue to face forward no matter what that leg is doing. So out, in, lower. One more time, just like that. Out, lift up out of the waistline. Remember that beautiful posture check. Yeah. You can do that anytime through your day. One more time for good measure. Up, out, forward, and back. Okay, now that we have that movement in the hip, we want to focus on a little bit more range of motion. Bring it up as high as you can without flattening your back. So imagine you have a rolled towel between your rib cage and your pelvis. Take that leg out and try and make a couple of circles in one direction. Whoo, and then a couple in the other. So we want hip mobility. That's absolutely going to play a vital role in our knee health. Walk it off, shake it out. I feel like those pets that just need to shake things out, balance out the nervous system here. All right, let's go, Sue. Up. We have Sue and Susan today. In and down. A few more times. Remember, the tendency will be to tuck. And if you're not sure, a great way to practice that is doing the same movement against the wall, right? Because if you're tucking, you're going to feel that tactile feedback of the low back pressing. Yeah, nice, Maureen. Forward and down. A couple more times for good measure. Oh, there you are. Marion disappeared. And back. Happy puppies at Deanne's house. Are there 2 dogs today or just one very floofy one? There are 2. Oh no, please tell me you didn't get 2 dogs now. All right, let's go with our circles now, team. Sorry, I get sidetracked by puppies every single time. Puppies and cats. So big circles. Good, stay tall, stay tall. 2 times in one direction, Claudette. Dad, nice job. And 2 times in the other. Good. Lower your feet while we take a bit of a break in our quads. I know, Sue. Here we go. I want you to just articulate through the heel. So I always call this like a little prancing pony situation. So watch my heel articulate up, other heel lifts, but my toes stay on the ground. If that's available to you, one leg, then the other. One leg, then the other. Yeah, just this is your break, and it's also going to help us as we move forward in our practice. So we know load is good. Load good. And that means your knees need load as well, right? We often think load the muscle of the bicep, load the quadricep, load the hamstring, but our joints need load as well. And so today we're going to practice with that. And so the first thing we're going to do is involve jumping, landing on the ball of the feet. So before we go, and I know this is not going to work with a broken toe, but we could try this seated, perhaps a little heel pop. So we're just going to try and lift the heel up. My heel's not really touching back down. I'm trying to stay on my forefoot, and that's where that chair might be valuable. Yeah, little bounce. Relax, right? We're going to have our joints. Yeah. Sue, let your arms hang. Ragdoll. Yeah, baby. Here we go. Just let everything go. So this is really important. So you can feel that we have this sense of buoyancy, right? When we just kind of bounce on our forefoot, right? And so in terms of the running world, which I'm not really dealing with that in this class, but there is some theory that toe strikes, right? Which means landing on the ball of your feet is better on your joints. Well, you know what? There's two pools of thoughts on that, rather. Some beg to differ, but there is science to say that heel strike and toe strike, both are beneficial depending on your outcome. So we're just doing that little bounce to make a short story long, to try and feel how landing on the ball of the feet is like really part of the springy concept, okay? 4, 3, 2, tongue-tied much, Diana, and 1. Grab a quick sip of water as we move on. So we've loaded our knee. Now what we're going to try and do as we pick up that chair and maybe move it out of the way. So it's in front of me, so just in case I'm feeling a little unsteady and I need some support, We're going to attempt to land, and this is the hard part. Landing ... 1 foot at a time is much easier. So let's start with that, shall we? This is fine no matter what risk category you're in, right? Because I'm pretty sure this is not too aggressive on your vertebral column, but it does definitely add impact and load. So we're gonna start about a step or two away from our chair and just landing on the ball of our feet before we drop our heels. So it's gonna go boop, boop. But our heel kind of stays up and then we land into our heel. So toe, 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 toe. Just keep saying toe, toe. But your heel will hit at some point, right? Toe, toe. But our goal, toe strike. Boom, boom. Again, this is a really wordy way of explaining. I want you to land on your toes. Toe mounds, forefoot, first third of your foot. You can say whatever you want, but you're getting it. Let's see. Bop, bop. Easy. Making it look easy. Yep. Now, I just want to preface, I'm seeing some people with their feet really close together. So please make sure your feet are as wide as your hips. Yeah. So we want a proper base of support. We know the most stable base of support is feet hip width apart. You got it? Everyone's good. How are we going to load the knees a little bit more now? We're going to find that spring. So sit back, watch for a second. I'm going to embody the springiness. For 3, 2, I'm scared, 1, boom. I did it. Yeah, little hop. You can even start with your hands here, but keep that nice long spine. Find the spring, hop. Good. We're all gonna like embody the Easter bunny or my grand bun, Apollo. So start with the spring first. I want it to be in your joints, including, most importantly, your knees. And then, boom, 2-footed jumps, 2-footed hops. Whoa, look at Claudette, she's hopping back too. Not necessary, but if you wanna, absolutely. Definitely gonna challenge your proprioception. Boom. I bet you didn't think you could hop today. You were gonna hop today. So again, we're attempting the 2-footed landing. Good. One more time, let's see it, Janet. Yeah, good. So if we were not able today to lift both legs at a time, I want you to think about what can help propel you up. So if your arms are here, which I did suggest it could be helpful for balance if you're nervous, right? Arms. So watch for 1 second. Let's progress this a little bit because I see some people doing a little doot-doot, which is fine, especially if you have an injury. But what about 3, 2, 1, boop, boop. I love it all the same. Yes. Let's see. Arms are needed, yeah? Yes, very good. Okay, this is fun. All right, now we're gonna move different planes side to side. So join me if you will, landing on your toes, toes, toe to heel, toe to heel. So find the buoyancy. You will be doing this summer, Susan. I know you will. Good. Side to side. So this, everybody is doing very well. Bye-bye. Side to side. So we're still landing on the mound and the toes of the feet. And then the heel hits too. Yep. All right. So this is a little bit more challenging. I'm going to use my chair for support. Start with the little initiation of the movement, feet hip width. Bouncy. 3, 2, 1. Woo! All right. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Yes. So fall prevention right here, y'all. Knee health. Boom, boom, boom. Start with the little bounce. Yeah. You got to be loosey. You can't do this all rigid. It doesn't work. Yes, Deanne. So good. Keep going. Yes. Now, the only one thing I'm seeing, stop for 1 second, is that if anyone was in yoga, and not everyone takes yoga, I understand, we had a resistance band around our thighs so that we could keep the tension pushing outwards in our squats. And so sometimes when we land, especially when Diana says, be really soft on your joints, watch my knees, boom, boom. We don't want that. So visualize, and maybe if you're going to repeat the class, you can even put a resistance band. We want those knees to track over the toes. Couple more times. Get that movement confidence. Get those arms moving. Moving those arms forward and back. Boom. Yes. Oh my gosh. And this is the harder one, you guys. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ta-da! That was incredible. But we continue from here, okay? So grab a quick sip of water. I'm gonna turn that music. It's a little too chill. Exit full view. Da, da, da. There we go. Okay. Take a sip of water. Make sure you're hydrated, right? For many, many reasons. I'm gonna show from this angle. Left leg is gonna be the primary mover, which means that front knee is gonna hold the load mostly. I'm gonna go back and come forward. Toe mounds, push off on toe mounds. Yeah, so broken knee wouldn't work too well, or broken toe wouldn't work too well, right, for poor Sue. But we got you, Sue. This video will be available for you probably in our summer series. So go back and forth, maybe about 5 times, and attempt to step back further and further each time. Yes, Deb. Now, I want you to do one thing for me. If you need a blanket to support your knee, I want you to have it handy, because you're going to take that same left leg back behind you and lower your knee to the floor. I don't know if you need it. Some of you don't. Yes, good. Now we want to try and stay really strong in our base of support, so a gentle engagement of that right glute. So your right knee is on the floor, or did I say left knee? Okay, doesn't matter. Left knee is on the floor. You're going to take your arms out in front of you. If you have your right knee on the floor, it's your right glute. If you have your left knee on the floor, it's your left glute. Good. And then open. Good. And close. Why not get a little bit of upper body work here? You're welcome. Good. Open, close. Last 2. Hips stay forward, spine stays tall. 1. Good. Option, take your hand to the chair or your front thighs, whatever works best. So for me, this is my dominant strong leg. I'm going to push my foot into the ground and step up. Good. And then we're going to go to the other side of the chair. Same exact sequence, except the opposite leg is moving back. So now my left leg is the primary mover. For you, it'll be your right leg. Feet hip width apart, all 10 toes facing forward. Knees are soft. We're going to go back and forth, maybe about 4 or 5 times. You can use your hands on the chair, or if you're doing that movement confidence thing and you want your arms working, go for it. Good. And then your final one, option, take your knee down to the floor. If that's not working for you, please come to a standing lunge variation. Good. Take your elbows out in front of your chest, arms bent to 90 degrees, open and close, open that French door. Good. Make a fist for me, Jenny. Arg. Yeah, so you're going to feel that protraction and retraction of the shoulder blades, getting that nice chest opener. 2. Oh, and 1. I think I thought this class was 2 hours long. Take your hands to the top of the thigh or the chair, squeeze your seat, push your front foot down and come on up. All right, we got so much work to do. So same thing, chair is going to be in the middle of your mat. You're going to stand on the right side of your mat. So we're all going to do the exact same thing. Step your feet outside of your hips. We talked again previously about our knee being in its most loaded position at 90 degrees. So either you're above, your hips are above the knee or below the knee, but not at 90 degrees here. So here we go. 5 times down and up. 5 times down and up. Good. So if you're getting low, you're keeping that spine nice and long, head upright. I want you gazing at the horizon. Good, and this last one, we're gonna bring our feet hip width apart, take your left leg, or rather your right leg, cross it over your standing leg, and push your hips back for a figure 4 stretch. Oh my gosh. This was mobility. Push your hips back to the wall behind you, Deb. Good. Yep, seated variation, but make sure this ankle is flexed too. Yep, 3, 2, 1, stand up. Holy schmolies, that's a deep figure 4 stretch, Deanne. I'm just doing this on the other side, supporting for my figure 4, feet outside the hips, 5 squats. Above or below 90 degrees is what we're aiming for. And it's not that 90 degrees is bad, it's just putting a lot of extra pressure on your knees. That may not feel delicious, right? Good. Push that floor away, Maureen. Up. Good. Feet hip width apart. Left leg now. Gosh, I'm out of breath. And push your hips back. Take a couple of breaths. Figure 4 may not work for everybody that high, in which case you can bring your ankle just in front of your shin. Still push your hips back and bend that standing leg knee. 3, 2, 1. Fantastic work, everybody. One more active exercise, then we're going to stretch things out on the ground. I'm going to move that chair out of the way. I don't know why every time I say wide, I get this. Like it's not ladylike, whatever that means or something. Stretch your legs wide. Don't be afraid. Have a chair in front of you if you're uncomfortable with balance issues, but you're not going to get the same results if you're standing super narrow, okay? So nice and wide, you're going to bend that left knee, rather right knee. It's a day with words. Now imagine, I've bonked my head at the Warsaw Caves out near Peterborough before. It hurts. Imagine you're in the Warsaw Caves and you're gliding from side to side. Your toes can be slightly turned out, by the way, team. They don't have to be parallel, all 10 toes facing forward. So you can see it feels really natural for toes to slightly turn out here. Knees are still going to track over the toes. Stay low, try not to come up, and lengthen. So Dina, try not to turn your body. You're always having your torso, yes, you're just moving, gliding side to side. Do you see how I'm always in the center? Yes. 3, 2, 1. Come on up. Heel toe. Have a sip of water. And come on to all fours. Anything that you would like to support you for your final mindful moment on your back, please feel free to have that available to you. And from 4-point kneeling, wrists, elbows, shoulders, nice strong base of support. You're going to step your left leg out, doing your best to have your ankle, knee, and hip in line. So it would look something like this. Ankle, knee, and hip. Right? So all of your toes are facing forward if you can manage that. And then from here, send your hip back towards your heel. You're going to get a deep stretch on the inner thigh, inner groin, all the way down to your ankle maybe, back and forth. Might even feel it in your knee. Back and forth. Keep that neck nice and long. Although I'm looking up at you, you can see how that hyperextends my neck here, and I don't want that. Good, and then take your left knee right underneath your left hip, and we'll do the exact same exercise on the other side. Toes facing forward on that right foot, rocking our body weight back and forth. Remember, at the end range, as you shift back, try not to tuck your tailbone under. Gorgeous, Jenny. That's perfect. Good, Claudette. 2 more times. Good. And then sidelining. If you have that towel or blanket available, you could use it as a strap. You could even grab your resistance band. I'm going to show this from different angles. We're going to support ourselves lying on our side. Supporting your head, Ingrid. Vicky, make sure that that neck stays nice and long. Bring your knees in front as if you were sitting in a chair, but you just happen to be sideways. And I'm using my red dish towel, and I'm going to place it right over my front ankle. Top ankle, rather. And if you have a strap, that's fine too. So keeping that nice length in through both sides of the neck, keeping that spine long, we're just going to send your knee back so that it is directly, if you were standing up, your knee would be right underneath your hip. All right. So you're making one long line from hip to knee. I have a wall here, so I can't lie down to show you. And then the last piece of this puzzle, I know what you're doing. You're going to try and pull your heel to your seat, aren't you? But I want you can pull it back a little bit. I want your shin to pull away. So you're creating resistance with your hands holding the towel or the band. So your leg is pushing against it. That's it. Your arm is pulling back, your leg is pulling out, 2-way resistance. So we're getting a stretch, but in a lengthened state. Yeah, good. Keep breathing. Pushing both hips forward. Yeah. Bring your hand behind you, Sue. Take a couple of more breaths. If you've been in this for a while, you can come out of it. There's some people who are still getting set up. So it looks something like this, right? My leg is trying to push out into the towel the whole time my arm is actively pulling my leg back towards my seat. Good. And then when you're done, just flip over to the other side, please, maybe from belly or on your back. And then, yeah, don't feel like you have to reposition so that I can see your face. That's not necessary. So yeah, make sure you hold that more nice and taut, right? If you're using your resistance band, you're gonna have to be a little bit less loose on that band so that we have strong resistance. Good. Be careful that your knee, Claudette, isn't behind your hip. So you want your knee right underneath. Yes. Yeah. So pushing into that towel or strap while you're holding the tension, squeezing the glute on that top hip, making sure those hips move forward in 3, 2, and 1. Please release that. Find yourself on your back, please, supporting your head and the curves of your spine as you see fit. And we'll just take a moment to breathe and let our body down regulate a little bit, team. So if you feel like, if you're in your basement and you feel like it's cold, by all means, grab a towel, blanket. If you're lying on your back, we want to do our best to maintain the curves of our spine. So recommendation is always to keep your knees bent and feet flat unless you have a bolster or some pillows or cushions under your knees. Otherwise, you might feel slight tugging. If not, it's fine. Good, nice job. Turn your palms open to the sky so you feel the connection of your upper back a little bit more on the ground. Chest is open. Just soften the muscles around your eyes. Try to part your lips ever so slightly so that you feel a little bit of softening through the jaw. Throat is quiet. I don't want you to change anything about what you're doing. I just want you to take your awareness to your breathing. You are absolutely perfect as you are. There is nothing to be fixed. There is nothing that you need to do to be better. You are absolute perfection. And as much as we want to live an active life, we also need to prioritize rest. Taking distractions out of our way, whether it be putting our phone on silent or turning it off, or telling those around us that you just need 5 minutes. To just be, team. In these final few moments, I want you to be grateful for everything that your body has done for you. In this class, in this day, in this week. And holding that gratitude in your heart, I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose. And open your mouth as you exhale and sigh it out. Start to bring some gentle movements back into your magnificent self. In any way that you see fit. Gentle stretch, some wrist circles, some ankle circles before turning to your side. And mindfully transitioning to your upright position and welcoming yourself to the rest of your day. Team, you did amazing today. Words were difficult for me today, but I know we all did the best that we could. So congratulate yourself for showing up, team. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.